I'm Dr. Jill, and welcome to my YouTube channel, giving you big answers to life's big questions. Today, we are going to be answering not only one, but two big questions. Usually, I just answer one big question on each video, but today we will be answering two because these two questions go together, and it is kind of hard to answer one without answering the other. The questions we are going to answer today are, what is true and what is real? In my last few videos, I have taught you that worldviews can be divided into two main types, religious worldviews and secular or non-religious worldviews. Christianity is an example of a religious worldview. A religious worldview believes in and worships some type of god or gods. Other examples of religious worldviews include Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. In my last two videos, I introduced you to two secular worldviews. The first worldview was naturalism. I said that naturalists believe that matter, or the physical world, is all that exists. Matter is the things we can know through our five senses, the things we can see, smell, touch, taste, and hear. I also introduced you to postmodernism and taught you that postmodernists believe that we cannot know what is real, so we invent our own truth about the world. It is like we have a blank world and we can fill it with whatever beliefs or rules we want. I have also taught you that a worldview is a set of beliefs about the world that shape how you live. Today, as we begin to answer the questions, what is true and what is real, we will begin to see how our beliefs about the world shape how we live and what we think about the world. In this episode, we are going to look at how naturalism answers these two big questions. And then, in the next video, we will look at how postmodernism and Christianity answer these questions. Before we look at how naturalism answers these two questions, I want to talk about what truth is. Truth is what matches up with reality. Truth is what matches up with reality. That means that for something to be true, it has to match up with what is real, with how the world really is. Can you see now why we are looking at these two big questions together? How we answer the question, what is real, affects how we answer the question, what is true? Let me give you some examples. To help you understand our definition for truth, if I told you that grass is purple, would you believe me? Is what I said true? Of course not. But why don't you believe me? Because you have seen grass and you know that grass is green. Maybe sometimes it's brown if it's dead, but it's never purple. If I tell you that grass is purple, that does not match up with reality, with your experience of green grass. So you probably won't believe me. Truth matches up with reality. How about if I told you that the sun is blue and the moon is orange? Would you believe me? Is that true? No, of course not. And why don't you believe me? Because you have looked at the sun and the moon and probably seen close-up pictures of the sun and the moon, and you know that the sun is not blue and the moon is not orange. It doesn't match up with reality. Truth matches up with reality, with the way things really are. So now that you understand what truth is and that for something to be true, it has to match up with reality, let's look at how naturalism answers the questions, what is true and what is real? Remember, naturalists believe that matter, or the physical world, is all that exists. So how would a naturalist answer the question, what is real? For a naturalist, only matter or physical things are real. As an example, we are going to look at the movie Horton Hears a Who. If you haven't watched this movie before, this movie is about an elephant named Horton who finds a clover. Now, Horton doesn't know this at first, but this is a very special clover. And there is actually a whole world of tiny people called the Who's living on this clover. These people are so tiny that they can't be seen on the clover by Horton or the other animals in the forest where Horton lives. But Horton has very big ears, and he thinks he hears something, and he comes to believe that there is something living on this clover. Here's a short clip of Horton with his clover.
Oh. There. Now you're safe. I know I heard you say something. I just know it. Where are you?
Now, shortly after Horton comes to this realization that there is a tiny person on this flower, the kangaroo shows up, who is kind of like the boss or queen of the forest. She makes and enforces the rules of the forest, and she does not like Horton very much. She also happens to be a naturalist. She believes that the only things that are real are physical things. Let's watch another short clip of the kangaroo talking to Horton about his discovery.
What?
There is nothing on that speck.
But I heard.
Did you? Really? Oh, my. Then how come I don't hear anything?
Well...
If you can't see, hear, or feel something, it doesn't exist.
What does the kangaroo say in this clip? If you can't see, hear, or feel something, it doesn't exist. This is naturalism. If you can't know something through your 5 senses, if you can't see, hear, or feel it, it doesn't exist. Now, if truth is what matches up with reality, and the only things that are real are the things that we can know through our 5 senses, then for something to be true, it has to be something that we can know through using our 5 senses. And these are the things that we study through science. When we study science and do science experiments, we are studying matter or physical things. For example, I homeschool my kids, and we just finished a bunch of science experiments where we planted a bunch of radish seeds in a bunch of different types of environments to try to figure out what radish seeds need to grow into healthy radish plants. The question we were answering is, what kind of environment do radish seeds need to grow? This is a question that we can answer using science and our 5 senses. So for naturalists, the only things that are true are the things that are testable by science using our 5 senses. But right away, naturalists run into a big problem. When naturalists say, only what can be tested by science is true, is that statement or claim testable using science and our 5 senses? No, it is not. We can't do a science experiment that will tell us if this statement is true or false. When someone makes a claim like this, we say that the claim is self-refuting, which means that it proves itself to be false. I'm going to read some self-refuting statements, and I want you to see if you can tell me why these statements are false. Never say never. Didn't you just say never? There is no truth. Well, if there is no truth, then this statement is false, because there would be at least one truth that there is no truth. Number 3, you should not judge. This statement is a judgment, and so it's false. Truth cannot be known. If so, then how do we know that that claim is true? You should not force your beliefs on others. Are you forcing that belief on me? Only what is testable by science is true. But that claim is not testable by science. When naturalists make a claim like only what is testable by science is true, it is self-refuting because they are making a claim that is not testable by science. So how do naturalists answer the question, what is real? They say that matter, or the physical world, is what is real. How do naturalists answer the question, what is true? They say that only what is testable by science is true. Remember, we have talked about how we are in a battle of ideas, and that some ideas are based on better beliefs than others. Naturalism believes that truth is what is testable by science. Is this a good idea that matches up with reality? No, this is a bad idea because it is based on a belief that is false. The claim that only what is testable by science is true can't be tested by science, which means that this belief is false and does not match up with reality. It is like believing that grass is purple when you know from experience that grass is green. Join me in my next video where we will look at how Christianity and postmodernism answer the big questions, what is true and what is real.